Hey everyone! So I have been seeing this trend going around on YouTube and I am dying to try it out. Let's ask AI for these patterns and then I'm gonna make them and show you the results. Write me a crochet pattern for an octopus. Okay, so it's telling me worsted weight yarn, a small amount of contrasting yarn for the eyes and optional details, 3.5mm crochet hook, stuffing, a yarn needle, stitch marker. Those are pretty standard. It's missing scissors. We've got abbreviations, magic ring, single crochet, increase, decrease. The decrease, it doesn't specify whether it's an invisible decrease or not. And then the octopus pattern. So far, looking through the head, it looks like the numbers are right, but we'll see once I actually go through it. Okay, attach the tentacles. So we have to sew the tentacles on, which already I don't want to do that, but I will. There's just so many no-sew octopus patterns out there. Like, why would you go through the pain of sewing on 8 individual tentacles? It does say that you can use safety eyes, and it doesn't tell you the size, but it does tell you where to place them between round 6 and 7, about 5 inches apart. And then also in the tips, it says you can adjust the size by using different yarn weight and hook sizes. You can personalize the octopus by adding a bow or small crochet hat. Okay, so far this isn't as bad as I was expecting, because I've seen videos where people have done this and they haven't gotten as much detail, and also the amount of stitches weren't adding up. Like, for example, it would say to do a single crochet and then an increase 6 times, which gives you 18 stitches, but then the amount of stitches would be off. So in here it's looking like it's correct, but I guess we will see. So I am not going to use the recommendations that they give me, but instead I'm going to be sticking with the good old Parfait Chunky and a 5mm hook. For the octopus, I thought I would do it in color Bubblegum. So this is kind of interesting. After the last round of decreases, it wants me to do a slip stitch all the way around. I'm not quite sure why it would have me do those slip stitches. I don't think I've ever made a pattern that had me do that before. So we've got this kind of balloon looking type thing because it had me do that extra round of slip stitches down there. Yeah, it's just a circle so far. What? The tentacles, I start with a magic ring. That does not make any sense. Finished the tentacle. It says to leave a long tail for sewing, but it does not say to stuff it, so I'm not gonna stuff it. I do not want to waste my yarn making this, but I've got to see what it looks like. I'm going to make the rest of the legs and assemble it off camera, and then I will be back to show you the final result. My octopus is now done. Here he is. The legs are just ridiculous. They're so big, and I had to really shove them in there to get all 8 to fit. I added a little mouth. Why is he kind of cute? I kind of love him, and I also hate him at the same time. I hated this pattern. I hated it so much. I hated making 8 individual legs. It was awful. I will never do it again, but he's kind of cute. Write me a crochet pattern for an axolotl. Alright, so materials, yarn. So again, it's not listing the safety eyes here, but maybe it will later. Crochet hook size, 3.5. Stuffing, needle, stitch marker. It doesn't have scissors, and another thing that neither of these have is the amount of yarn that you are going to use. Abbreviations again, but same thing with the decrease. It doesn't say whether it's invisible or not. And the body. So far, it looks fine. The head, It seems like maybe the head will be a little big, but we'll see. And then the gills, and we are sewing everything. And the legs, I don't see any legs yet, so I guess we'll see what happens with that. This is our pattern. The axolotl, I'm gonna do this, I believe is called sea glass, and this one is navy. It is the next day. I have finished the body of the axolotl. It's a ball! I still have to make the head and the gills, and I see that the gills, you start with a magic ring, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Again, it's like the octopus legs, where usually you just do a chain or something. Here's the head. Later in the assembly, it says to add the eyes. It doesn't say where, but I'm just gonna pop some in wherever I think looks best. And I'm just like shoving them in there, and I will glue it with my hot glue gun to keep it in place. I'm not too worried about this. It's not like I'm gonna be selling it. I think that's good. Next is the gills. Okay, this is the gill. It doesn't really look like any gill I've ever seen, and in comparison to the head, it's like like where am I supposed to put them? It doesn't say in the pattern. It just says position the gills evenly around the head and sew them in place. And those are the only body parts that are in here. I read through the assembly that there's no mention of any legs or any tail, so this is what I'm working with. I am going to make the rest of the gills and assemble this thing off camera, and I will be back. Are you ready to see my axolotl? No arms, no legs, no tail. I didn't sew them on evenly. They're kind of crooked, so you know, it just ruined the whole thing. Yeah, this is terrible. It's not like it was difficult, but look at it. Write me a no sew crochet pattern of a cat. Okay, so this one, it tells you your choice of color yarn for the body, eyes, and accents, so not a lot of detail there. Crochet hook, appropriate size for your yarn. Commonly used are 3.5 or 4. Stuffing, yarn needle, and safety eyes. Oh, tells you to use safety eyes, but it doesn't tell you to use a stitch marker. And then abbreviations, same thing that we've seen. Instructions, create the cat's head and body. Make the cat's ears, make 2. Leave a long tail for attaching the ears. Sew them in place, so it's not no sew. Make the cat's legs. Attach the legs to the body. This is not no sew at all. Like, did I give it too much of a challenge? Is that not fair or what? It says, sure, here's a no-sew crochet pattern without needing any sewing. Lies. Oh my. For the whiskers, cut 3 to 4 pieces of yarn and tie or glue them near the nose. Why do you need to glue the whiskers on when you can just embroider them? Cool, so I guess I'm gonna be doing a lot of sewing, which I hate. Yeah, so let's make it. And then for the cat, I'm gonna do color lilac. There he is. He sure is tiny. I really think that this is like the size of a head. and there should be a body here, but the AI just could not get it right. I'm gonna make the ears next, and they are 7 rounds tall. This is 10 rounds tall, and they're gonna be 7 rounds tall. So another thing that I noticed is the ears are not gonna come out triangular. I can already tell they're gonna be circular. So again, we're just seeing more balls and circles. Well, here's my ears, and here's the body in comparison. Yeah, so even if this was meant to just be a head and like an extra body should be there, these ears are way too big. The legs are just 6 rounds of 6 stitches, so little tubes. And then for the tail, it says to chain 12, work 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook and then all the way across. So I actually have something really easy to make with just a chain. Okay, there's my tail. I am going to make the legs and assemble this thing, and I will be back to show you. Here's my cat, my no-sew cat, by the way. He does stand on his own. But there he is. Yeah, the ears are just way too big, and he kind of looks like some sort of demented mouse or something. It's pretty bad. This is awful. So AI did not do very well with this one. Not that I did well with any of them. This is especially bad. I asked for no sew. I did not get no sew. So that is it for my little creatures that I made. Let me know down in the comments which one do you like the best, which one scares you the worst. Either way, I think that AI patterns have been pretty underwhelming from what I've seen and also what I've experienced myself. I have no plans on using them for anything other than your entertainment. Okay, that's it for today's video. I really appreciate it if you stuck around this long. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!